We have some major shakeups, not only at the top, but also at the bottom. And I'm not trying to be self-congratulatory, but I think this is the best work the committee has done yet. All right, now debut the tiers, please. For the first time in a month, back on the tiers. The Jets. The Jets are back. Now, are the Jets back because they're good? No. But they are back because the Bengals and Jags are just as bad as them. Jets have actually shown some fight. So that, I don't know if you can read that. That says won't win again until 2021. Those three teams, good night, good luck. For the Bengals, you feel bad because it's Burrow's injury. NFC East stays the NFC East. Then, two unique tiers. New. One worse than record, one better than record. So Bears, Lions, Broncos, Patriots, they all have 4 or 5 wins. They are actually worse than those records. Now, Texans, Chargers, they're 3-win teams. They're better than their records, as are the other teams on the tier. Now let's get to the cream of the crop. The teams that actually matter. Zoom in on that if you could. Wild card contenders. You look there. But Raiders, Browns, Dolphins, Ravens, only 2 of those teams are going to make the postseason. The Bucs will make the postseason, but we know it's a wild card team, and we know obviously they can't win the Super Bowl. Then you go up a tier to the Achilles heel tier. What does that mean? Listen, Achilles, I don't know if you know this, was an amazing fighter, a legend actually. Unfortunately, he had one fatal flaw, as all these 4 teams I fear do. For the Bills, it's their quarterback. For the Colts, it's the quarterback. For the Packers, it's lack of toughness and run defense. And for the Cardinals, just a little too inexperienced. Now we get to the 6 teams that I believe are most likely to win the Super Bowl. Great at something tier. That Rams defense is terrifying. That Seahawks passing offense is terrifying. That Titans, when it's working for them, Derrick Henry plus the play-action pass offense, terrifying. And then controversial, but we felt we had no choice. Co-number 1 contenders. How can you have co-number 1 contenders? Ask the WBA. It actually happens all the time. Steelers undefeated. Saints just won again with a backup quarterback. They look like if they can be that dominant when Drew Brees doesn't play, they deserve to be there. And then, of course, we don't have to spend a lot of time on it. The champs remain the champs because they're the champs. So there it is. The committee is the proudest they've ever been of this list, Brandon. There are no potential issues whatsoever. I imagine Jenna can just do the tease because I think we're done here.
No, absolutely not. Wait, Jenna, hold up 1 second. No, the Pittsburgh Steelers need to be alongside of the Chiefs. There's a clear bias in your committee, Nick, and you need to weed out the person who is just tainting the whole committee. Why aren't the Steelers sitting next to the champs? You got to think about this, all right? The Nick Wright tiers essentially was the next evolution of the power rankings. We need to get back to the values of the power rankings. The constructs, the ideals of the power rankings were good. Now, I do agree with you. We needed the Knicks NFL tiers because it got kind of lazy a little bit, right? Like, it wasn't just about, oh, what team has the best record, but the thought. Yeah. The process of, look, the team is playing the best and they're undefeated. Like, they need to be acknowledged. And you refuse to acknowledge the only unbeaten team in the National Football League. For that, I think the Steelers need to be right next to the Kansas. They need to be right there. Go back to the ideals and the constructs of the power rankings, Nick, and also weed out whoever's diluting your committee.
Okay, first of all, besmirching the integrity or the values of the committee will not be stood for. And they're not here to defend themselves, so I consider that to be dirty pool. That's first of all. Second of all, thankfully this week, we anticipated this complaint. Both the Steelers and the Chiefs play massive primetime nationally televised games. So the Steelers, they take on the Ravens, have a chance to sweep the Ravens and really put the Ravens in a rough spot. And the Chiefs play, it looked like a bigger game when the schedule first came out. Now we know the team's very limited at quarterback. But the Chiefs play the Bucs on Sunday Night Football, and so that's a big one as well. So let's see how those games go. I've made a commitment that if the Chiefs get their second loss while the Steelers are undefeated, the Steelers will jump them. Thus far, that hasn't happened. And so the Steelers, the Steelers just beat the Jags.
So you have no
Can't
value.
give them a ton of credit for that.
Being undefeated holds no weight with you. That is a shame.
Hold some weight.
I mean, I'm starting to rethink. I'm starting to rethink the Knicks NFL tiers. I may want to go back to the power rankings. I don't like this.
Wow. Wow.
All right,
Quick
Wilds, let's bring you in
Wilds,
here.
What's your issue here?
Oh,
What's your
yes. Well,
issue?
good day, everyone, and good morning. Good morning, everyone, and happy early Thanksgiving. Elizabeth and I are taking the children out to the countryside for pheasants and quail hunting, like everyone, I assume. So I'll make this fast so we can get on with the festivities. I, Kevin Wilds, would like to petition yet again that the Colts move up a tier for the reasons contained henceforth. Reason number one.
It's like 3 weeks in a row.
Henceforth. The gravy defense, that the Colts have are good at everything. They're second in total yards, fourth in passing yards, third in rushing yards, and fifth in points. The defense covers up anything. You can put them on anything and they'll be good at it. That's why they're called the gravy defense. Number two, the bolo tie confidence. You need confidence to wear a bolo tie. I myself wear an ascot most days. I take it off at 6 o'clock and put on a regular tie. Did you know Philip Rivers has only been sacked 9 times and pressured the least amount in his career? Well, it's true. That's why he wears a bolo tie, and that's why he's better than everyone realizes. Reason number 3, something I tell my children every night before I tuck them into bed in their pajamas. Ball security is job security, yours and mine. And I know you're thinking, ball security? That certainly could not be Mr. Rivers. Well, it is. Here's some stats to put in your pipe and smoke in the morning. There's only been 11 turnovers from the Colts. How can that be? Well, it's only 8 interceptions and 3 fumbles. So although we think that the Colts are turnover prone, they are not. So Nicholas, for those reasons, I demand that the committee once again move the Colts up a notch to contenders.
This is 3 weeks in a row.
Good day.
He refuses to listen to you.
By the way, the Colts,
do it for him already.
They did move up a tick from AFC pretender, that tier doesn't exist anymore, to the Achilles heel tier. Wilds, let me ask you a question, out of character, if I may.
Yeah,
I assume...
Out of character, sure.
I assume you read the Iliad, correct? You read the Iliad growing up, or you're at least familiar with it?
If you give me an Iliad quiz, I will probably get an A- on it.
No, I won't give you a quiz. I'm just listen. Achilles, which is where Achilles' heel comes from, was the greatest Greek warrior. He was the hero of the war, but he had a fatal flaw, as do the Colts. You said only 8 interceptions. That's the 6th most in the NFL. Now, it's not as many as Brady has, but it's still really bad. And you're like, only 11 turnovers. They've only played 10 games. A turnover a game ain't great. And so
The last 4 weeks, he's been lights out.
Unequivocally, which means a bad one's coming.
For 3 weeks.
Yeah, that means a
for 3 weeks, Wild's been petitioning the committee.
Go ahead,
Because
Wilds.
the last 4 weeks, Philip Rivers been playing amazing, right, Wilds?
This is true. This is true. Hold on. I've got to get... Although I'm from the olden days, I do have a computer. Here's what the Dusty told me. In only 3 games, they've lost the turnover battle. So you can look at them and expect them to have a bunch of games where they're turning the ball over. They've only lost the turnover battle 3 times, and they're 1-2. Now, as we move forward, maybe they'll lose the turnover battle in the playoffs and lose a game. But I think this just sort of stereotype that Philip Rivers and the Colts in general are coughing the ball up all the time is not true. I don't look at the difference. That's not quite true, but I'm trying to make the point. What's the difference between an interception and a fumble? You're giving the ball to the other team. So as long as the running backs don't turn the ball over, it kind of helps Philip Rivers out.
No, that's correct. I agree with you that if you don't fumble the football, that obviously helps you in the turnover battle, even if you have a turnover-prone quarterback. Listen, maybe I'll be proven wrong, but Nick, I'm telling you, Jenna, when the Colts season ends, we're going to be on here and we're going to be showing highlights of Philip Rivers' pass followed by this. which is Phillip Rivers ripping off his chin strap and then yelling at people. Because that's how this season's going to end.
Phillip Rivers. No, that's not.
Okay.
That's not new Phillip Rivers. There is something that could potentially affect the tiers, though. Whether it's the Colts or not, 3 games this week are going to affect the tiers in a big way. You got Ravens-Steelers tomorrow night. You got Titans-Colts. And then there's Chiefs-Bucks. Nick, what needs to happen in these games for us to see some movement in the tiers?
Well, listen, for the Ravens are, hanging on for dear life, and now all of a sudden they're going to be without two of their best running backs against the Steelers. As promised, if the Steelers win and the Chiefs lose, the Steelers go to the top. The Bucks can reassert themselves if they get a win against Kansas City. And then you have Titans-Colts, which if the Colts win that game, then Brandon, I think Wilds is going to get his wish. And I almost moved the Colts up. I almost pushed the committee to move the Colts up just to dispatch of this character from olden days that Wilds insists on invoking when talking about them, because